What's up, everybody? We are back from Salt Lake City. I
Woo!
heard in my voice that I feel like straight dog shit tonight, but it's the Mike and Mish show, 9 o'clock Wednesday night, where you always want to be. And tonight's show is going to be awesome because we're going to recap the biggest event of the year. Um, dude, BKFC just keeps on doing it. We thought back in April, BKFC 41 was something. Fight-wise, BKFC 41 might actually been better than this one. I'm not going to say. We could debate that all we want. We have the award show coming up pretty soon, but this one was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
goddamn good from prelim to freaking main event. Outstanding event. What do you say, Mike?
Oh, man. Salt Lake City was amazing. From the second we landed, well, I wouldn't say from the second we landed. We could talk about that in a second. But
Yeah,
from the second
yeah.
we got to the press conference throughout the entire weekend, even though I felt like a whole bag of dog shit in a blender, I
And
still
now I
had a
got
great
it.
time. So here we are. I'm uppity. Kyle's downity. And
Downity.
we are fucking ready to talk about this card because it was absolutely insane. But before we get to any of this stuff, Kyle, look, we've got some happy birthdays already. Susan Walker says,
Oh,
"Oh, happy birthday." Monica says, "Happy birthday." And
thank
she
you, thank
gave
you.
you, what are those? What's going on here? Oh, it's a party hat. I see.
Party
I see.
hat. Oh, party
Party
favors.
hat. Party
Yeah, well,
time.
thank you guys. You know what? Since you want to say that, I want to go ahead and say happy birthday to Kevin Smith. That was this
Ooh,
when we
Kevin.
got out there. We all went out for Kev Day. I believe tonight is Jeff Houston's birthday. Monday was my birthday. Remember that shit?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin, Jeff, and me all within like 5 or 6 days of each other. We all went out. We had some beers. We ate some food, and we threw some axes. That was great for Kevin's birthday. Turns out that after about 20 throws, I'm kind of deadly with a fucking little hatchet, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I saw some pictures, and I think Kevin was the one who posted them of you guys throwing some of them axes. I stayed
Yep.
away from the axe throwing because I was not feeling too well, and I don't think that would have made me feel better. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Falcon here. Falcon was with us. Falcon and his
Shout out,
brother.
let's go, boy. He's
Absent-minded. Shout
beautiful.
out, let's go, boy. Anthony, DJ Tony Orozco. He was there with us too. We were having a good old damn time down in Salt Lake City. We went to this place. It was like an adult bowling alley, and it had fucking foosball, bocce, pool, shuffleboard, fucking axe throwing, all sorts of shit. DJ.
Had a giant arcade. Had an
Yeah,
outdoor
it was
fire
fun.
pit.
That was a
It
nice
was
place.
called
I
like
enjoyed
it
it.
was called Pins and Ales in in Salt Lake City. It was really cool.
Pete
Wha-
Sales. The Weekly Bus joined us. Those guys were with us. Howie from freaking Knuckle Town. They were there. Howie and the Mats. Oh, yeah, we had a time.
that's right, dude. We had a time. Why
Tommy
don't we
from
shout out
Billboard
our
Matt.
sponsors real quick, dude?
And Q, our sponsors. Let's do it, Kyle. Let's do it. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? We have number one on our list. Boom. The Shave Parlor. Best fades and shaves in Cape Coral, Florida. See, I would love to say that I went to the shave parlor and got faded up so I looked fresh when I went to Salt Lake City, but I didn't. So I probably could have looked much better than I did. I did go get a haircut, but probably would have been much better if I went to the shave parlor. I should have flew down to Florida, went to 101 Del Prado Boulevard in Cape Coral, Florida, and I would have seen Jay, Omar, and even Heather, but maybe not Naughty Nate. I probably wouldn't have went near him because I don't want those filthy hands on my head. You know what I'm saying, boys? All right.
Yeah.
So get down to the shave parlor, barber lounge, and studio and get your fades and shaves now.
We also got the BK Bet Shark. I didn't see how he did this past weekend. I wonder how he did, but the BK Bet Shark is the place to go if you want to get some advice on where to put your money on bare knuckle fighting. And we had a huge event. I wonder what he.
There's a lot of upsets. There was some
a
upsets.
lot of I mean, I bet you a lot of people lost some money on HT Davis, and yeah,
yeah.
And Eddie, and I bet you a lot of people were putting money on Eddie Alvarez as the pretty heavy underdog at plus 275 or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a solid bet for a guy like that. But I wonder how he did. Either way, BK Bet Shark has a really high winning percentage and a lot of money in his bank account because of betting on bare knuckle fighting. So get over to @BK Bet Shark on Instagram. Follow the link in the bio. pay the $50 a month and just listen to his tutelage and stack your cash. Mikey.
Stack it up, stack it up, stack it up. And you know what else you can stack up? That weight loss, sexual health, and anti-aging with Dynamic Life, founded by a team of medical professionals with over 25 years of experience in regenerative medicine, anti-aging, weight loss, and sexual wellness. Take back control of your life now. Go to www.livedynamic.com and become a patient in just 20 seconds. And check out the the Dynamic Life Instagram page at Live Dynamic, which is LIV, no E, Dynamic.
There it is. And before we get into the show, we do have one new sponsor, Mike.
Ooh,
we have a new sponsor. I'm wearing their shirt right now.
Look at that.
You guys see their stuff all over the place. Bucked Up is a new sponsor of the Mike and Mish show. Bucked Up Energy, Bucked Up Supplements,
And check
Bucked Up
this out.
Clothing. So go ahead.
They got a line with BKFC now too.
Yo, so what I'll do is I will share a link to our so you guys can get credit for us in the bio on our Instagram. I'll throw it in there after the show tonight. But if you do go to buckedup.com and you want to buy any stuff, use promo code Mike and Mish 20 and you will get 20% off your purchase, which is pretty dope. So it's Mike and Mish, all one word, MikeandMish 20 in the promo. And there you go. Welcome to Bucked Up on the Mike and Mish show. We love them guys.
Bucked up
already.
Get bucked up.
Hopefully my internet doesn't suck ass because it looks like it does right now. And
you're doing all right.
We're doing all right, Mike. We also got to give a shout out to Tommy Clohessy because he introduced us to his actor buddy from Ray Donovan.
That's right. My God.
If anybody's a fan of Ray Donovan, which is a great, great show, and if you haven't seen it, you should check it out because it's a dope ass show. Ray Donovan's a straight up badass. His brother, the guy who plays his brother Bunchy on the show, was there. Dash Mayock was there, and
I have a picture of these guys.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up in a second, but keep going.
Yeah, he was cool as fuck, man. He's a hip hop head from like Brooklyn, New York, and you would never know that when you watch him on the show. Because he plays like the dumb brother of Ray Donovan. He's like they're Irish family, like an Irish mob family, and he's constantly getting into stupid trouble on the show. But when you meet him in real life, these actors, they got you fooled.
There he is with Kevin.
Yeah, there he is right there. Fucking
with you. That's with you.
Yeah, there he is. He was like freestyle rapping and like mixing music in his
Is he twerking there?
Yeah, he was like showing his ass cheeks.
Look at it's DJ Tony.
Yeah, it was a great night, dude.
There's Tommy.
Fantastic night in Salt Lake
cool.
City. Mike, we had an awesome event, a crowd of over 8,000 people. The pre-show, the tailgate prior to the show started at like 5:00 at night.
Oh man.
And I swear to you, there was 1,000 people in the parking lot an hour and a half before the event even fucking started. They had the MIT 45 truck out there. They had the truck, the Bucked Up Energy truck out there. They're like handing out samples, handing out t-shirts. It was a blast. They had music going. They had DJs. It was fantastic. And then when you went inside for the prelims, fight number 1, it was absolutely fucking 3/4 of the way packed.
Yeah.
For the first fight of the night. It was fucking crazy.
Intense. Just walking around, people getting food and bears, it was insane. There was people everywhere. I like usually when I walk around to look for the swag, I want to get some swag like this right here. Look at that King of Violence t-shirt. Was able to pick up one of those. You walk around, you run into Lorenzo Hunt, right? You run into Joe Hitman Elmore, right? With his wife. You don't know who you're going to run into, but let me tell you, you couldn't see anybody in the damn hallway because it was packed from side to side. There was friggin' people getting burgers, fries, and beers, and it was going all the way across the damn hallway. You couldn't go anywhere. The place was unbelievable. Like the concourse, it was packed at all times.
Yeah, it was, and they built the card just right. They put the two biggest stars in the company at the top, and everybody showed up early and got to see everybody. Now, speaking of one of those fellas that you just said, we want to talk. We want to go ahead and start talking about this event right now. I'm going to throw the results at the bottom of the screen and the ticker right there for everybody, so everyone knows what happened on that evening. But the main event featured two absolute dogs in there putting on a display of violence like you wouldn't believe in what was for the King of Violence title. And we wanted to go ahead and bring on a special guest tonight who has some insight in the world of violence. This motherfucker is a bad boy himself. And I said, who's a better guy to get on here to talk some shit about two guys bloodying it up for a belt called King of Violence than Joe Hitman Elmore? What up, man?
Hey,
What's up, fellas?
what is up?
Man.
Always
Yeah,
good to
dude.
see
Like
you.
you said, what an event, man. You know, I got stuck out in the hallway. It took me about 45 minutes of running to the curtain, looking at the fight, running back in line, and I made one of my fans that was a friend of mine. I was like, I'm gonna stand in line like a normal human, but you saved my shit. And I was running, watching the fights. It was amazing, man. One of my favorite events, whether I've fought or been a part of. So, yeah.
Those lines were incredible, right? Like outside more than an hour before the event, there was like 4 or 5 lines that just went into the parking lot.
We got there. I got there 25 minutes after the doors opened, and like you said, that very first fight, I was like, okay, I don't have to be in anybody's corner. I don't got to be at the rules meeting. It's just me and my wife. She was doing some interviews, and I got there, and it was completely packed, completely crowded. We had to walk through a mosh pit to get her credentials as the media pass coming in. Yeah, it was amazing, and the energy was wild. You know, I sit with Roy, Big Country, Roy Nelson, me, Todd Duffy, all of us sitting there on the edge. Josh Burns. I mean, they were having to tell us to sit down. You know, I mean, we were blocking other fans, and they're telling us to sit down. Security's coming in and going, God, we paid for these seats, but I mean, it's just so exciting. It was hard to sit down with all that wonderful violence.
It was
It is
great.
hard to sit down.
But you know what, dude? We're gonna start at the main event right now, Joe, because I rewatched the Mike Perry Eddie Alvarez fight today. I watched it back because we watched it live, and this was this was the first time in all my times of covering these events, and I think this is like 22 or 24 events for me and Mike. I hopped the barrier and got in between the barrier in the ring so I can get just a little bit closer in case some crazy shit popped off. And I had my phone out in case anything was going to happen. That is the first time in any event that I've ever done that. And I'm telling you right now, we saw it live and it was incredible. And I rewatched it back on TV. And you know, it's always a little different when you watch it on TV. It was just as fucking incredible. And I got to tell you, I want your opinion on this because Mike Perry's face must be made of
You mean Terminator
granite.
face? Yeah.
Dude,
It's
it
like
must be made
Terminator
of
2.
steel.
Yeah, it like he got hit and it turned into the sword. Come out. His chin fought back. I've never seen someone's you know, and I said myself, man, I've still never been dropped by a punch. I think I have one of the most epic, best jaws in the history of all combat sports. Go back and find me get hit and get dropped by a punch. And I went up to him and I told him that, and I was like, but dude, man, it was like your chin got stronger as it got hit in that first round. Eddie, I mean, the jab that Eddie was throwing at that angle, coming up, jumping into it. And I mean, I'm sure there's a picture, and it looks like he's throwing a 45-degree angle straight up to heaven, and blood is just coming out Mike's face. And I remember being there for that punch live. I mean, there's so much energy. Yeah, oh yeah. And you could just see it coming through and just, I mean, blood flying everywhere. And God, I'm thinking to myself, he's going to take Mike Perry out. But then it was just 10, 20 more in a row, and Mike just walked forward. His eyes didn't change, and he kept fighting. And when he went to that second round, man, it just, the way he turned it, the way he stayed tough, the way he stayed strong and confident through that, it was just, that's what men are made of. That's what men are made of.
You know, as you were just saying that, and you remember Black Panther? He had that vibranium suit that as he got hit, he got stronger.
Yes.
It's like they do say he's the Nigerian nightmare. Maybe he's the Wakandan nightmare.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah, yeah. Wakanda forever for sure. This fight, man.
yeah.
I
Oh
was
my god.
just super impressed beyond anything with Mike Perry's jaw, his tenacity, and his true toughness. It I don't care, man. I still am mind blown. Like you said, I went back and watched it today too because I knew I was going to come on here and talk to you guys. And I wanted to make sure I didn't sound like a fool. Like he did quit in the end of the second round, right? Like isn't that the second person that Mike Perry's made quit? Former world champion UFC star to quit in the corner versus Mike Perry. And this one was whooping Mike Perry in the first round. Mike Perry,
Yeah.
regardless of having that amazing chin, was getting whooped up. Maybe on
You know,
purpose, whatever, but God, man, that
he was powering up that suit. You know what? It's funny. Like if you go back and watch it,
sweat.
you could pinpoint the punch that broke the orbital. I watched it
Yes.
again
Oh
today.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dude,
well,
he lands
because
that.
he
Oh my!
ran right into it, and it, man, I mean, it
Is it
went
this one?
right. Yep. He ran
Might be that
right into it as he was coming in. Because Eddie, once Perry landed that big punch, Eddie came forward and he landed that counter with that right hip all the way through and stuffed that eye. Ooh.
Eddie really went into like fight or flight mode after that shot right there. Like it almost like Eddie had a real nice game plan going, even though the game plan was just like, even though Mike's game plan was to just let him keep punching him in the face, apparently.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Eddie was
Like a
Eddie
battering
kept
ram.
landing. Eddie was hitting him with different shots from different angles, and it was working. But after that shot to the eye, the game plan kind of went out the window. Eddie was like, "Oh fuck, I got to fight for life now."
Well, now that you mentioned that, in my head, I was watching and I was like, what was the point when it turned? Because Eddie was doing so good. And then in the beginning, right after that punch of that second round, now go back and watching and seeing it, it was that punch that did it. Think about that orbital, man. I've collapsed my orbital one time. I got poked in the eye when I fought Ryan Jett in Legacy, and it hit my face. My whole face went numb. I would drink water for a week. You know, when you go to the dentist and it dribbles out through your mouth, my whole face was numb. So I can just imagine he couldn't feel it. And when you're out there, man, it was like me, dude. I'm going to fight until I get to that corner and the ref says you can't fight. You feel your face and then like there's nothing there. You're like, I will live to play another day and get that paycheck.
And you know what? And I'm pretty sure it wasn't Eddie that called it on the stool. I'm pretty sure it was his coach, Mark Henry, right?
Oh, it was. Oh yeah, his whole face went in. His coach was like, "Nah, we can't," because Eddie couldn't see, and Eddie wasn't going to admit it. Eddie said, "I can't see off this eye," and that was just from what I hear from what they said. Is he said he couldn't see, but he was fine. He was trying to keep it. And his coach was like, "We ain't doing this."
Right.
Joe, you were sitting on that side, right? So where we were all standing, and Eddie was facing out of the rope. So it goes to, between the second and third round, and you can see him sitting there, and all of a sudden his coach or somebody turned around and was like, "I'm sorry, he can't see," and he like yelled it out to the crowd, and we're all looking at him. And I think at that moment people were like, "Wait, what the fuck?" Because the ref hadn't quite called it off yet. It was like a second or two before it, so we're like, "What the fuck's going on?" And he's like, "I'm sorry." He was like apologizing to the crowd.
It might be like, I mean, think about this, dude. Our coach in our corner, I've actually looked at a referee and the doctor, Dr. Don Musi. He's my friend. He knows I'm kidding, but I'm not. I've looked at him and I said, if you take me out of there because of a cut over my face, I'm going to find you in the parking lot. So as a man like Eddie, if I'm fighting for the king of violence and you give up on me because I got too much blood on my face, you're going to have to apologize to me. But when I get home, I'm going to respect my coach. I'm going to thank him because when I'm in there, I'm ready to die. But I also don't want to die. I love my lovely wife, Maggie. You see how beautiful she is in the red dress. You need those guys out there to protect you, man, because I mean, it's our job to be the king of violence and not quit, dude. So we need somebody sometimes to save us, and they know better than we do, dude. We gotta. Our lives are more important than our pride. So we can heal that shit up quick and go play another day, take it like a man and fight again. Like Eddie said, he said, I'm still a man. I'll take my wins and I'll take my losses the same way, baby. Let's do it again. That's what the king of violence is. You can't act like a bitch after losing, or you wasn't the king of shit in the first place.
Isn't it wild what Mike Perry and the BKFC coming together have done for that fucking guy's life and his career?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants a piece of him, not just people in the BKFC, people in outside the BKFC, people in the MMA. Dylan Dennis wants to fight him. Donald
Yeah.
Cerrone called up the boss and said, "I want him." The boss wants Robbie Lawler to come in there. Darren Till said, "I'm smashing him." None of these guys are even in the fucking BKFC. And then you get people in the BKFC. You got Luis Palomino, like really campaigning for this shit.
Well,
Dave Mundell is the champion in his division and wants to depend. Like everybody wants him.
I'm just happy that they brought a motherfucker in and they're paying somebody that's paying us back. Like, no offense, when they brought Paige in, I think that was one of the biggest wastes of money they had. It didn't do anything. She got beat by everybody else. It was cool. It did what it had to do. But Mike Perry is truly bare knuckle. If I were an investor and I had money, I'd put my money on him, and he's done what he's done. He's won. He lost a close decision to Julian Lane. Me and him, I was his co-main event. Matter of fact, I got to take her place, co-main event with him against Michael Venom Page. I'm sure people had him counted out against Michael Venom Page, Bellator champ. Mike Perry has went and just really changed his life from the guy knocking people out at the bar to the guy making millions of dollars with a beautiful wife, new kids, new family, new son, and he's bringing us money. Shit, keep bringing these motherfuckers over here and let me get. I mean, all due respect to the king himself, but Eddie, I love a piece of that ass motherfucker. Jeremy Stevens, all you guys. I just want to fight all the warriors. I want to go to war, go and have some beers when we're done, and beat the shit out of each other. And Mike Perry's the guy that's going to bring me more guys like that. The home built superstars like me get to fight these other former world champions. We get to be legends together, make these huge fucking fights. And I thank Mike Perry for that shit, bro. He's the first big piece of money that's really brought everyone to the table.
I love the way you just said that, because I don't know if anybody is going to agree with me, but if he never fights Dave Mundell, fine. It doesn't really totally make sense for him to fight for that title. Just keep putting him at the top of the card. Keep selling out these arenas. If his next 4 fights were Anthony Pettis, Robbie Lawler, Cowboy Cerrone, and Darren Till, and then those are his last 4 fights on his contract, and he rides off into the sunset, if they put those 4 fights at the top of 4 cards and stack those cards and make everybody fucking a little bit richer and a little bit more famous because everyone's tuning in to see Platinum fight all these fucking dudes.
It's your fucking opportunity to be your own Platinum superstar. It's called the motherfucking Joe Show for a reason, baby. Let me get on a card with one of these superstars, and that's what I did. That's why BKFC 10. I was supposed to be an undercard. I was third or fourth fight, knocked out Will Chope. My house, it still rides. I'm still the one getting my face busted up. Hell, there's been 50 fight posters that have had my face getting destroyed by Tom Schoaf. You got to go in there and take the opportunity, man. And I want to be on the biggest stage. I'm not an egotistical. I'm not the biggest star. I don't have the most followers. I will be a part of someone else's show by going out and doing one of these shows with Mike Perry, and the whole card becomes big. Think about this. There was a fight that wasn't on the card, right? Todd Duffy. Did y'all miss that card? This was such an amazing big card. I hated that wasn't on there. But after watching the fight, even the undercard with everybody there, the energy, we didn't miss that fight. You could make a whole new card with that fight now. That's how much energy was in that card with Mike Perry, Christina Ferreira. I mean, Kai Stewart. What a fucking fight. What a surprise. I mean, everybody, man. God.
Joe, what about this fight? I want to ask you about, because you got to love the just absolute insanity of the Mohawk and Esteban. I mean, Mohawk and Keegan Vandermeer fight, right? Those two kids threw about 300 punches at each other in 3 minutes. It was absolute insanity. And Mohawk might not be the most technical fighter in the world, but he's kind of built for this sport because he's got a gas tank for days, and he just throws and throws and throws. What do you think of that one?
Man, like I said, every one of these fights had me screaming, standing. I've never gotten. I'm usually the one that's like, sit down, sit down. You know, I don't want to ruin people's time, especially me being there with the crowd. But there was just never a moment of silence. It's reminded me of being at when Atlanta won the soccer world title that first year. The pro team came to Atlanta and they had a parade, dude. If you've ever been to a soccer game or a World Cup game, it's one of the biggest energies you'll have. And this reminded me of that, man. It was just huge. It was like a Super Bowl. It was every fight was amazing. Blood everywhere. Those guys, you should have seen them backstage. God.
Oh, these are big guys too. They're not like real small. They're swinging like they're 125 pounds though.
Oh, so they were fast. That's tall, fast, and powerful.
Nonstop.
2 6'3", 6'4",
and very good inside fighting, man. I forgot, how much even inside they were throwing those punches from all ranges, huh?
And I found out like after the fight that Keegan like broke his index finger on I think on his right hand, like all the way down from like the tip to the knuckle. I don't know if it was like a spiral break or something like that, but he basically was like, yeah, this shit's all the way. It's like broken from here to here. He was like,
hey, so we used to have an award in high school called the best wrestling injury. And I know Dave, Phil, and them want to kind of keep our stuff a little down, but I think our injuries are fucking cool. I think we need to have like coolest injury of the year, but it has to go to a fighter that fucked it up in like the second round, didn't tell nobody, but when they got to the fifth round, their hand was twisted like a game of fucking Operation or something. You're like, you fought like that? You'd be like, yes, I sure did.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. Best injury.
Best injury warrior.
We're gonna have to add that to the list of awards we give away this year.
Well, that would be the best injury right now. First one that pops in my head: Charissa Sagala trying to reset her ankle.
Yes,
middle of the. Remember that shit?
Hey, that one and Melanie Shaw too. When I saw Melanie Shaw's tooth get knocked out, I was there. It went across. I mean, I saw it go across, and she walked through it like Mike Perry, dude.
You're right. That was.
And then afterwards, her interview with her just going, "This is one of the greatest days of my life." I'm like, "Is that my fucking sister?" Was my dad in London whenever I was? He wasn't. My dad was in the military. You boys know how that goes. No.
She said, "I just really enjoyed the process."
It was lovely to be here.
Monica says that I don't know if it's that fight or that clip has 11 million views as of today.
Oh no, yeah, it's her interview afterwards. It went viral, man. It was wonderful.
You know what's funny is Susan Singari. She's the one who did that interview, right?
Well, and she's the one that did my interview afterwards. She's the queen of loving blood. She still has when I fought Tom Shoaf for the 9/11 memorial fight. I mean, God, I was so busted up after that fight. And it was the first time I met Susan. I went over and gave her a big old hug. I mean, God, blood was gushing out of my face still at this point, and it hit her. And she messaged me, and she saved her dress. It still got my bloody hug on it. She has it up at her.
Joe, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say something right now, and maybe I shouldn't say it because I might be asking for trouble. When I do the post-fight interviews, sometimes you motherfuckers got blood all still in your mouth, and the breath that's coming out of your goddamn face smells like a bag of nickels. It is so fucking bad, dude. And like,
it's like fucking rusty nickels, bro. And it tastes like rusty nickels and like dry, maybe like a dry fart mixed with rusty nickels. It's the whole back room smells like it. Yeah.
I remember being down in Orlando, and remember David Diaz versus Travis Thompson, that bloody war. David Diaz did not clean up at all. He just put on a suit and just was covered in blood. And he's talking to me, and he kept getting closer and closer to me. And I kept sliding back a little bit. Which
you want to talk about not washing your blood off of stuff? I've got my shorts. This is from the Tom Shoaf fight. And that was where I was wiping the blood off my eyebrow. I'm pretty sure that's some of the same shit.
Does it
Oh,
still smell?
yeah.
Could you smell it?
Oh, God, yeah, right there, boy.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Talking about Susan, and it's funny because Tony said that DJ Tony brought up the same thing. I was thinking she has that one, and like you said, Joe, she's the queen of love and blood, and she loves it. She made that Taylor Starling interview that like got the
Into like
meme.
a GIF or a
Like, I
meme,
had a
yeah.
great time. I want to do it again. Her face is all fucked up, and everybody used that for everything after that. That shit was great.
Yeah, we Susan is the one. I think she's got a few. She gets those moments of and has something that makes you. She's fun and she's so exciting and
Yeah.
she's so proud of you after you win. When you interview with her, how sweet this lady is. She don't like if you met her in public, you wouldn't just go, "Oh, this lady definitely loves interviewing bloody, fucked up faced fighters." But she gets you back there, and I was just so excited. I forgot my face was messed up, and she's friendly to my wife. So I get back there, and then I go back and watch the interview, and I'm like, damn, I was beaten to a goofy pulp. I'm back here going, hey, look at me. I can't wait to fight again next week.
Awesome. No, I remember Susan down in Hollywood interviewing Ben Rothwell and standing on Arnold was one of the tall guys. It was either Ben Rothwell or she's standing on a wooden box. So she was a little bit because if she would have interviewed him, her head would have been below their nipples and she would have been like this. But she was standing on this box. It was so funny. It was hilarious. But hey, Joe, I don't know how long you want to be on here, but I want to get some of your insight on a few other fights. Christine Faria is just continuing to just dominate her division. Beck Rollins is a fucking badass, and she's a problem pretty much for anybody else in that 125-pound division. But what do you got to say about Christine, man? She's like, she just keeps
that's
getting
my
better.
girl, man. She's like she hit me up. I told her I can't wait, and still I talked to her a few times, and she actually called me her spirit animal, and she is. If I had a sister for real like me, she's just so kind and down to earth, a real warrior. She's like my brother / sister, man. I love her to death. But I mean, Beck did great. I'm glad somebody finally went to war with her and made it all rounds, and it was just a beautiful war and a fight between them. But Christina's dominant, man. She went out there. She looked better than she's ever looked this time. The things that she did do wrong in any fight, none of that happened this time. Her in and out movement, her hard punches, she wasn't taking damage either. And Beck is talented. So for her to come back, Beck to come back looking good after having her baby in full shape, she wasn't as pudgy as she was her last fight either. And yeah, man, it was just another amazing fight. I had that one for my fight of the night. There's an emotional attachment because I love Christina. But yeah, man, that was one of my favorite fights too. And I'm super proud to be friends with Christina, man. She's a fucking killer. She'll be here for a while. Can't wait to watch her fight Cyborg. Please, Chris, after you fight in January, fight Christina at 135. Give us that one because I'm a fan of Cyborg too, man. I remember when she fought Gina Carano all those years ago.
But here's the thing. Christine's going to have to go up to 145 to fight her because Chris Cyborg attempted. She tried her hardest and almost died. Got to 135. The furthest she ever cut in her entire career was 139 pounds while with the UFC. And there was a documentary on that. Her blood was so thick in her veins that they had to give her blood thinners or she was going to fucking die. So I don't think if Cyborg if Cyborg did want to come over, which I think she might actually after she posted that thing the other day. It would be amazing, but Christine's going to have to know that she's going to have to go up to 145 and meet
45. Her. Well, you know what's funny? I saw a picture of her in the post. I believe maybe she responded to Christina after the interview where she announced that she had her fight. Dude, she went from her ears to her shoulder bones, bro. Like, I'm talking about full blown. And I was like, that's what I thought. There's no way her neck is making 135.
She said it, dude. She said herself. She walks around 175.
Okay, yeah. But I mean, I think Christina would go to 45 though, and there would be nothing for her to lose at 45. She's got size, and Christina's got power and speed. Let's fucking go. Christina will fight 45. I know she would.
Hey, shout out to the bosses in the comments down over there. David Feldman in the house. What's up there, boss man?
How you doing, Mr. Feldman?
Yeah, another
The
great
man.
event. Another great
The
event. Yeah,
man.
man. If he could pull off something like that, or pulling in an Amanda Serrano for Christine, I know that her two dream fights, she said it a million times, is Amanda Serrano or Chris Cyborg. And at this point, I don't see a single female on the roster that makes sense.
Christina's a star too. Christina
Yes.
has earned her star status. So a big name fight like the female whoever the female Eddie Alvarez, or if it's for Cyborg, if it's Carano, whoever it is, she definitely would go in there and can take some of that name, take some of that money, defend her title, look good, and it's no lose for David, BKFC, or Christina, no matter who she fights at this point.
Yeah,
so here's
she's
that
an
post
absolute
right
beast.
here that you're talking about, Joe.
Yes.
Where
Yep.
Chris Cyborg, well, Fight TV put out, would you like to see Christine Faria fight Chris Cyborg? She said, I'm focused on my boxing fight January 19th, but if Kayla H isn't going to be ready, PFL MMA anytime soon, let's talk Bare Knuckle FC with a little winky face. So I'm going to take that and run all the way to the bank with it and say they're fighting this year.
Hey, and Dave knows Cyborg from the circuit from a long time ago. Dave was actually running around with them and friends back in the day, so they're like this too. So it's not hard for. I mean, Dave's friends with Connor now. Our daddy Dave can talk to everybody. Let's go.
Nah, man, it would be incredible. I can't wait. He says right in the comments, their big announcement coming next week. Have a good night, everyone. So I wonder what it is. He said that night after the event in the post-fight press conference, he said he has something. He's going to take care of Christine. She's been one of the most loyal people on the roster from day one. There's a handful of day oneers that hold a piece of his heart, and she's one of them for sure. Amanda Serrano vacated her title today in glove boxing. I know she signed with PFL, but you know what? Money talks. Maybe, you know what? Maybe she didn't plan on fighting for PFL for another year or two. And in the meantime, money's on the table, baby.
Exactly. Dave has the money and the backing behind us. Let's make it happen, baby.
PFL seems like a company that wants to make money. The way that they handle Ngannou, they have Jake Paul. They're signing fighters because they know they're gonna fight eventually in PFL, but they also want to have their hand in that pot too because they know, hey, oh yeah, you'll fight here, but also you're signed to us, so maybe we'll get 10% or 20% of your fight in your boxing match.
If I can see a brick of gold don't lose its value. I'll buy that piece of gold even if I'm not going to use it because I know somebody else is going to want that shiny gold, and that's what they've done. They don't let us sit on a shelf. They use us to hold value, and that's what they're doing with all these fighters, man. We don't need to be sitting. Let us go do a pillow fight for a big charity event against Anderson Silva. Then let us knock each other out with bare knuckle gloves. We're fighters, we're athletes, we're entertainers, and there's a lot we can do, man, and make a lot of money if they keep it going. Don't let it get stagnant and cold like boxing did for a while. Just keep this shit growing.
They just keep on doing it too. 2024 is going to be something, man. Like we're hearing little rumblings of this and that, and like Mike and I being New Englanders up here, we're hearing that they might be venturing up our way pretty soon, and I'm like praying to God because
New England, Atlanta, they're coming to Atlanta. We were talking about January, February. Now they're talking about early March. I mean, that's my home place. Let's go.
Oh, man.
As soon as they come to Georgia, we're going to open that up wide.
Yeah, I'm sure Feldman's going to be happy when we stop asking them when they're coming to the Northeast. We must ask them that every single time we get a chance, every time we see him, every time they had a call-in media event interview with David Feldman on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And so I, of course, called in, and one of the 4 questions I asked was, hey, is there any new states that you can tell us about in 2024? And crossing my fingers that one of them's in the Northeast, maybe. And he's like, yeah, here we go again. It's like the 30th time you've asked me.
For the 31st time, things are in the works.
In the works.
In the works. I cannot wait.
And what everybody wants bare knuckle in their state. When you see first hit Fox and it blew up with the damn remember that first card that night versus Quentin Rampage Jackson. We're in that stage. We're past that stage. Like I feel like people want to be in this.
Hey Joe, you're breaking up a bit. We lost you here.
Yeah.
You're breaking up.
You were breaking up pretty good there. We didn't hear anything that you said, basically.
What about now? Let me see.
Okay. Yeah, you've caught
there
up
you go.
now. You've caught up.
Yeah, we got to get some of that platinum
I
internet
got high
over there.
speed internet.
Up and he's gone. Up and he's back. Up, he's gone
What the
and he's
fuck?
back. Up, there he goes. Here we go. Hey, what's up?
There we go.
There you, there
You're
you
better
are.
now. You're better.
What
Oh,
were
way
you just
better
saying?
now.
What were you just saying?
Okay, yeah, my Wi-Fi had went out. Sorry, guys. I don't know what part y'all did not hear.
We didn't hear like any of it after we talked about. You started off with for the 31st time. I'm working on. Yeah.
No, just for the 31st time, man. Everybody wants it in their state. Like I said, God, I want it in Georgia. You want it there. We're growing so fast with like the UFC was back in the day. I said like they had UFC on Fox. It was Dan Henderson versus Quentin Rampage Jackson. Next thing you know, it was from Spike to Fox TV to pay-per-views all around the world. And the faster we can get it to these states, the more these states can make money. And now these fighters like me want it there, man. I've got when they come to Georgia, I'm gonna have all the big sponsors in Georgia backing me for my main event. It opens up our region to us. I'm going, and I've built fans in Mississippi, and I've got huge fans in Florida. I sell 20,000 tickets here and there, and I've built my base all over the U.S. But man, to fight at home in front of all the people, my grandma, my son, all the gyms I've been a coach at, all the children that were in kindergarten taking class with me that are now seniors or college wrestlers themselves. I mean, I've been around for 15, 16 years. I've had kids growing up watching me. So it's huge for it to come to my state. I can't wait.
That's awesome. That must be really, really, really cool when you're training kids and they stick with it and they follow through and they show up and you're there for them. And then boom, they're older and they're going to college and they're like fucking doing well. And you've had a hand in
I have
helping shape
3
their life,
fighter friends whose kids were at my fights, and now they are fighting, possibly going to be fighting on cards with me. And I was watching them sitting in the gym, watching us train, and me and their dad be friends. And now they're going to be world champions, 19 years old, knocking out grown men. It's kind of cool, man. My son's 19 himself now, so it's just, it's crazy. Crazy world, moving fast, baby.
Yeah,
it is. Now, before we move on, I just want to say that we mentioned PFL a few minutes ago, and I know that PFL bought Bellator. Bellator used to make a home of Mohegan Sun. I don't think they're going to be occupying Mohegan Sun anymore. So that is a perfect arena for bare knuckle fighting. Get your eyes on that one. Make that your target. Make that your target up here because I think you could probably slide in there now that the Bellator purchase happened. It would be so fucking awesome. That would be right in our backyard. It'd be fantastic. Before we finish up with you, I want to talk about the Mick Terrell fight with you. Mick Terrell is an absolute fucking monster. He's a big, giant man that came over from the UK. He didn't succeed his first time against Arnold Adams, who is one of the goats in this sport. Yep. He had a little redemption story here, and Arnold looked good early in the fight, and then it changed. And man, what do you got to say about that change of landscape in the heavyweight division?
I had Boombae winning that fight like this time. But Mick is one of my favorites, dude. I love that guy. He's a bill collector. So I don't know if y'all know about him, but he goes and collects money over in England. When people need to like pay up, he knocks on the door and he's like, "Hey, I'm here to collect." And so that man's tough, dude. He's a real fighter, dude. And he weathered the storm. Arnold poured it out, trying to finish him, and he about got it done, man. But he gassed at some point. And Mick hurting, face busted up, went out there and manned it out and put on a war and did what he did and put him on his ass, man. That TKO was another vicious comeback because you're sitting here watching and you're thinking that Arnold's going to win and it's going to go the same way. And then one punch, man, Nick wow, turned the whole thing. Mick Terrell's the new champ, baby. Took it over to the pond. Congrats to him. And what an honorable man, man. You know, I hate it for Boomba, but he's still there, one of the top contenders. And was the first champ, and he'll be a champ again. But yeah, Mick right now is a monster. Can't wait to see what he does next.
You know, you said it in that little breakdown right there perfectly. At some point, the tank went out, I think, for Arnold. Like the elevation hit him. You're 4,200 feet above sea level out there, and elevation hits everybody differently at different times. And like you said, he was working, and then in the end of the third round, it's like he got stuck in the mud a little bit, and Mick almost put him out at the end of that round. And I said it to Mick in the press conference, and I did not mean anything towards Arnold at all with this, but Arnold did look like he was almost out on the stool, like he wasn't coming out of that corner. And then at that point, I was wondering if Mick was like, I have it done now. It's over. He's not coming out of that corner. And then all of a sudden he fucking stands up and he's walking back to the scratch line. I'm like, did that take a little bit out of you? He was like, no, I just knew I had to finish it now. Like I knew I had him on his heels.
It wasn't as obvious what caused Boomba to gas out. It was kind of like you just seen him like throw a punch, and all of a sudden his belly started moving. He went from staying light on his toe, throwing punch, to heavy. I don't know if he got hurt, if it was a rib punch, if he ran into something, but yeah, you could see that he definitely, like you said, he got completely stuck in the mud, and maybe just an adrenaline dump. I know when I fought my last fight, I went into the third round after I got my ass whooped in the third round. I felt like I won those first two, but I went back in that third and sit in the corner, and they're like, you're adrenaline dumped. You're closing your eyes. You're holding your breath. And I had to hear it to refocus and settle my adrenaline, but it was just too late. I think maybe he had that adrenaline dump, and if he'd have made it to the corner, maybe he could have focused on his breathing. Maybe he could have done this, but man, once that shit hits, you're just like breathing or hearing sound underwater. You just got 2 minutes to get out of it, and that's not a long time.
And then you're in there. Like Mike and I were talking about just the immense size of Mick Terrell. Like he is a big heavyweight, and just like getting in the elevator with him going up to your room, he takes up like fucking quarter of the elevator, and his hands are gigantic. And when you get that adrenaline dump and you're coming out of the corner the way he was, I just couldn't imagine getting hit with power like Mick packs in his hands at that state of mind, you know?
Just slowly watching a tank run over you, man. I mean, but Boomba did it with grace. You know, he got whooped. He knows what happened. He didn't cry about it. He gassed out. So it must have been an honest thing. Mick went out there and earned it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all you can say about it.
About the last two fights for Arnold is I completely thought he was going to win. Like, watching the fights, when the fight started throughout the first, like I was like, he's beating Belcher. He's going to win this fight. He's definitely going to win this fight. And then he lost against Belcher, which there's a whole bunch of bullshit that happened in that fight. And I'm going to get into that. Don't get me going on that because I can go on.
Hey guys, I'm on 1%. If I go dead, love you guys. Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, sir.
All the fights are amazing. You guys are amazing. Love y'all. Catch up soon.
Thanks for jumping on. All right.
Yeah. We appreciate it.
Peace, bro.
All right, we'll see you.
So, yeah, so basically, I thought he would win the fight, right? And then the same thing, like the way he was fighting in this fight, I was like, Arnold's got this. Like the way it was going, I was like, look, it looks like Arnold's got this fight. Like it's done. He's gonna win. He's gonna be 3-time champ. And then something happened a little bit. The tides turned, and then he lost. You know, so it's like both of those fights, he was like right there. I feel like he was very close in both of them. And then, you know, like I said, we know what happened with the first one, but the second one, I feel like that must really, really, really hurt to just be there both times. You know what I mean, and not actually come away with the wins.
I have to go back and watch this one because Joe said something there that. Maybe Mick did land like a big body shot or something at some point in that third round, because it was halfway through that third round that Arnold slowed up significantly. And that's when Mick started landing combinations on him against the ropes. He was hurting him against the ropes. Maybe he did land a body shot. I just don't remember because it's really like we always say, it's hard to see everything when you're right there. Like that's why sometimes we find
you
ourselves
do miss
watching the
stuff.
fights on the
Yes,
screen because you
to
see
get better view. Yeah.
Yeah, it was unfucking real.
So speaking about Mick, like I saw, actually, I'm going to address a comment that I saw by Duffrey. Let me find it. It is up here, and it's about this right here. So it says, so why didn't they interview Mick in the ring? Bad look for the company. So I do know one thing is that everything that you watch on TV is pre-planned. So like when they have the TV time, it's pre-planned. They already know they're only interviewing this person, this person, this person. However, I do agree that they should have interviewed him because he is a champion. It's a championship belt. So I think it's very important to make the belt important, right? So like, I think no matter what, they should always interview the champions in the ring. I don't care where they're placed on the card. Anyways, that's basically why they didn't interview him, because he wasn't in the time slots where they had already pre-planned to have the interviews, because they have interviews backstage that are already planned out, and they're already planned out between what fights they're going to happen at. Like Faria's going to come out. She's going to do an interview between X fight and X fight, and it's going to be behind the scenes. It's going to be pre-recorded, and then they're going to row it later. Like that's what they do. So like everything's pre-planned. There's nothing that isn't planned already. I'm sure they throw little nuggets in here and there during the night, but it's like planned from beginning to end, because the show doesn't stop. It's live, and you just never know what's going to happen. So they can't, like, they just only have so much time. But yeah, I do think it would be
right.
important.
And then and with some fights started going the distance, you know what I mean? And it was like I was backstage, and Eddie Alvarez came up to somebody and was like, "Hey, what time do you guys think what about time do you think I'll be making the walk?" And they said somewhere in the 10, 15, the 20. If the show continues to go on and they're like playing it the way they think it's going to go, right around 10:20, you should make the walk. He was like, okay. He just wanted to get his mindset. That's what Mike's saying right there. They have it almost like they don't know what the outcome of these fights are, but they could basically base it off of, data collected from previous events with this many fights and this kind of shit going on. Yeah, you're going to be fighting around this time, and they might not be able to. But I agree too. They should interview the champs. If there's a belt involved, they should have an in-ring interview for sure.
Yeah,
and Cyrus likes that camera time too.
Yeah, and I like Cyrus on the camera time.
Yeah, he's good in there.
So we posted the Mick Terrell video, and it has done really well on YouTube. A lot better than most videos do on YouTube. And so the UK has really gotten behind him, which is awesome to see. And I started reading through the comments, and I'm sad that Joe Elmore left right now, but we'll do this little game with you guys.
You play with me.
Yeah,
play with me.
Oh, you don't know the answers, Kyle?
I won't even look at them.
I may have said them earlier, but I've been talking about it all day. I was reading through the comments, and it's really funny because some of the slang words that come out of the UK, when I'm reading it, I'm laughing because I'm like, I don't know what the hell this dude said. There's a sentence, it's written in English, but I don't know what the fuck they're saying. So I'm reading through them, and I'm looking up these words, and I'm like, man, I gotta type to Lou Fuse, right? So Lou Fuse has a podcast that covers bare knuckle, and he's in the UK. You can find his stuff on YouTube also, but he's also on the BKFC app like us. So check him out. He's awesome. And so I start texting him, asking him about all these different slang words. And I was like, it would be a good idea if we took Joe Elmore, took the slang words, and see if you could guess what the UK slang words were. And unfortunately, he's out. But let's play this with Kyle. I
have the comments up. I don't even have the banners up. So
because I can't see.
I won't even touch them because I don't remember what half of the ones you said were. So
all right. So here we go. I got some from the comments, and I got some from Lou Fuse, and this is also a little slang. I call the show Bits and Bobs. Guys, this is Bits and Bobs, and what Bits and Bobs is an odd selection of things, and these things are words, and they're words from the UK. Let's start with the first one, chuffed. Do you know what it means to be chuffed, man? I'm chuffed. If you're watching something and you're
pissed
chuffed.
off? Pissed off?
No, it is the opposite.
What?
Of pissed. It is very pleased. So some guy says, man, I watched Mick. He's a good mate. I was chuffed with his fight. He was very pleased with the fight.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah,
0 for
that's what
1.
I'm saying. You see, I'm reading these comments. I'm going, chuffed? What the fuck is it chuffed?
Okay.
I thought
All
someone
right.
threw up.
Chuffed.
Anyways.
I'm not very chuffed with my answer right there.
All
So
right.
go ahead. Next
So
one.
here's another one that came up. I hope I'm saying this right. A gaji? The gaji got him. He's one hell of a gaji.
That's how you use it? Okay.
I
Use it
think.
in a sentence. One hell of a
so.
gaji.
I think so.
A gentleman?
That gaji got him. Yes, very close.
Yeah.
A man. Yes,
A man. Oh,
and actually, I found one that said that is into like hooliganism too. So I was like, oh well, that makes sense, right? So
Like
another dude was in the comments, and he was like, "Man, that was a belter."
a
belter.
knockdown. Is that like a knockdown, drag out, fucking slugfest?
Pretty much. It is an event, person, quality, etc. that is admirable, outstanding, or thrilling. So yes, that is good. That you got that one right.
Okay.
This one
Got
you
one.
might be able to figure out by process of elimination and make an educated guess on what it is because, let's see, Geordie. A Geordie. If someone says you're a Geordie, what are you?
It's someone from like a certain area, right? Because isn't like the Geordie Shore like there was like the UK version of the Jersey Shore
Yes.
called the Geordie Shore, and that's what they are called, right? I don't know
Yes.
where that is, to be honest.
I have it. So
What is it?
basically, and this must be where Mick is because someone said Geordie lad, another Geordie lad done well. That's what
So
someone
is that
said.
where Mick's from? Is he like
So it says it's a nickname for a person from the Tyneside area of northeast England. So I'm guessing
that's the area he's from. He's from the northeast part, like towards Scotland, he said.
Yeah, so there you go, and that's right. That's exactly why I thought you would figure it out because the Jersey Shore, they had the UK version, was the Geordie Shore, and another Geordie lad done well.
So I got 2 right now.
Yep. So here's another one. If you call someone a Doyle, not old Doyle rules, but it could make sense for.
Oh wait,
saying
is it like a
Doyles.
pussy, like a doily, like you're a soft little bitch?
A doily. That would be good. It would be good if you were a doily, but no, it is not. It is you are an idiot.
Oh,
Quite frankly, you are a Doyle.
Doyle to me seems like a dainty word, like a real soft little bitch.
Yeah, just a little Doyle. Little Doyle, like a dollop, a dollop of daisy. It's a Doyle of idiots.
Yes.
And,
okay, so I'm 2 and 3 right now. I'm not doing well.
So here's another one, and it's divvy.
Oh
divvy.
My god, divvy.
Yeah, and that's talking about breaking shit up. We're not going to
use it in a sentence, please.
Yeah, there's a lot of divvies at the airport.
Stew nods?
Yes.
Is it
a stupid person?
I know my stew nods.
Hey, why don't you pull your friggin' bag down and get off the plane? What are you, a divvy? You don't remember where you put your bag?
You don't remember where you put your bag?
Doyle?
You divvy? You Doyle divvy? Can you combine them?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so I have one more, and this is wrongin'.
Wrongin'?
Yeah. I don't mess with that wrongin'.
That's like a hooligan? Like a bad guy?
Kind of, I guess. So it's pronounced like wrong UN, and it's a dishonest or unscrupulous. Unscrupulous. I do like that word, unscrupulous. I need to add that into my fucking vocabulary.
Name somebody who
a wrongin'.
Hey, name somebody in our world that you would call a wrongin'.
Howie. Howie's a wrongin'. Howie's been talking shit about you, Kyle.
He always talks shit.
I know. I heard he's been talking shit about. He's been talking to. Actually, if I go into the comments right now, I've heard that he's been talking shit about everybody in the comments right now. Actually, Duffy McFrenigan, Swervo Cuts, Absent-Minded, Big Ben. Oh yeah, Extreme BK fans page. He said you guys suck. Take that up. Take that up with Howie. Howie's talking shit about everyone. Speaking about Howie. Howie's
I'm not very chuffed. I'm not very chuffed with Howie because that Gotti is that Gotti is a fucking Doyle divvy piece of shit.
I was going to bring this up earlier, but I didn't get to. But Joe's wife, Maggie May, actually reports for Knuckletown, and I just wanted to bring this picture up because I took this picture and she was interviewing Luis Palomino. Let's take this thing. Let's take this friggin' thing off the screen before we bring that. We don't want that up with it. You know, that looked bad.
Yeah.
Here we go. That had nothing to do with the picture. But yeah, I want to bring this up with Joe because I got this nice picture of her interviewing Luis Palomino, the champ. And let me say something. Actually, you know what? You know what really grinds my gears? And I'm going to tell you right now. People need to know this. And Darkwing Duck said it earlier this week. For those of you in the know, Darkwing Duck is Patrolman. He mentioned it. We've been talking about it, Kyle and I, behind the scenes, and a lot of people know this. Listen right now and take this and share it around the world if you need to. A champ is somebody who has won a title from two different weight classes. Not winning a title and then defending it 75 times. That doesn't make you a champ. No, that just makes you a defending champ. That's it. A champ is someone who won in 2 divisions. Enough with this already. Let's straighten it out. I will forgive everybody, but here going forward, you do not if you say someone's a champ if they win the title and then defend it. Done.
I love that. No, that's true. It's the truth. It is the truth.
So,
and back to that picture, Mike.
So many people, hundreds of people say
it. Can I say that Joe and Maggie are my favorite couple in bare knuckle?
Oh,
they are the fucking best. I love them too. They're great.
I have lots of pictures of them.
Like every event. Hitman is like this crazy violent fighter and a wild man, but he's the nicest guy. He's so cool with everybody, and she's like the sweetest person I've ever met in my entire life. And they are genuinely happy to see us every single time they see us, and it's super cool. And I could totally appreciate them for that.
She always tells me this every time I see her, and I remember after she told me this time, I remembered to do it. And you'll notice that when Scott. So she told me, you need to take more pictures of you and Kyle and yourselves doing stuff because you guys are out here doing videos of everybody and taking pictures of everybody. And I love you guys. And this is great, but you need to start taking pictures of yourself so you have pictures to remember. And when she said that this time around, from that moment forward in the night, I started making it a point to get a picture every time you did an interview. Let's take a picture. Let's do a picture. Like, so she definitely put that in my head. She's a very, very, very nice woman. I do love them both. They are great to run into. They're at like every event. So
they really are.
I love running into them.
I'm glad they're at every event because they're great people. And we need more people like that, like pushing the sport, being out there with the people, you know what I mean? Interacting. We say it all the time. We can't, hey, you know what? Speaking of that, we cannot ignore, we're on here for an hour right now, but let's talk just a little bit more. We have to go with the Kai and HD, dude.
Yes.
I'm just going to say congratulations to Kai Stewart. I will admit that if I had to put money on one person in that fight, I thought it was Howard's time to take the belt. And it's nothing against Kai, but Kai's a wrestler. Howard is a tall, long, strong, knockout power holding in his hands boxer who has 7 bare knuckle fights under his belt. So it's not like he's a boxer. That doesn't translate to bare knuckle. He has 7 bare knuckle fights. So he's 5-1-1. He knows how to bare knuckle fight. Yes, he's a boxer. Because of his experience in the bare knuckle squared circle, his length, his strength, his technique, and his just absolute physical presence in there, he came in as a brick shit house. I thought he was gonna take it. Kai lost round 1. Punched him in his dick, I think, pretty hard. He snuck one in there. It kind of got stuck underneath.
Hit him in the bell end, as they say in the UK.
Yeah. He hit him in the bell end. The hand kind of slipped in that Spartan skirt and fucking tapped his nuts. But after the first round, Howard, Kai must have went into his corner in between round 1 and 2, and they said, "Make it fucking nasty for this kid. Get in there." Bulldoze your ass in there, use your fucking wrestling, shoot in, throw that jab on the shoot, and fucking make it your fight. And do not let this guy box you. And rounds 2 through 5, Kai did exactly that. Kai got a little nasty with him. He even got some hard warnings from Nick Ferentz a couple times. I actually, and to be honest with you, I thought that he should have lost a point.
I thought he was going to get a point
in the fourth round. Yeah, well, he went to the knee one. Yes, he could have lost a point for that. But then in the fourth round, they were tied up, and he tells him to break up. And on the breakup, Kai hits him with an uppercut. Boom.
Yeah.
And he turns, and the ref turns, and he says, "Hey, whatever he said to him, knock it off, whatever." It looked like he gave him a little stern warning.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, it happened again.
Yeah.
Like 30 seconds later, they're in the fucking
clinch
again.
Yep.
He breaks him up, and on the way out of the clinch, he pops him with the little fucking uppercut again.
And when he did it too, you could tell he was like, fuck.
Yeah, and like Howard's like, what the fuck? And the ref turned and like yelled at him that time. And I'm like, oh, he's losing a point this time. Never lost a point. I don't think it would have mattered anyway because he won rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5. But he straight up made it a nasty little dirty fight. And right there in the comments, was not a fan of that fight. People might not have liked the way it went down because it was nasty, but you know what? Kai did what he needed to do to maintain his he needed to maintain his fucking hold on to his belt, and he did exactly what he needed to do to hold on to his belt. Now, can he pull that shit off with can he pull it off with Datwin? Can he pull it off with Brandon Allen? Can he pull it off with whoever the fuck? I don't know. Like, and we talked to Louis that night. Louis said he wants another shot at it. I don't think they're going to do that right away. I think it'll be either Dat or Brandon Allen, and Kai might have to fight. You know what? It might be Dat next, right? So say he fights Dat, Louis might find himself fighting Brandon Allen, and that'll be like a time.
Or Brian Duran.
Or Brian Duran. Yeah. So one of those.
They're all on the talks there. That everybody's in that, like, that's another. Maybe they should have like a little tournament there with those guys.
Right. You know what? Big Ben said it in the comments right there. I like that Kai hit him with that left. It was shocking us.
Hold on.
He hit him with that left on the way in. He almost every single time on the way in, timing it perfect. We were saying that night. We're like, why isn't Howard adjusting to that? Like, it looked like after the first 15 times doing the exact same move on the shot in, throwing that jab on the entry, it looked like he probably could have figured something out there and made an adjustment to counter that, but he just never did. Never did the whole fight.
Yeah, a lot of people were asking that after the fight, but I did see him leave. I don't know if he left the stadium, the arena right away, but I did see him because where we were recording our interviews, I saw his crew walk by. I didn't even get to say anything to him, and I just saw them go through the curtain into the left where like the post-fight press conference room was down that hallway. And I don't know if he left from there or went and sat up in a seat or went and sat and watched it from the locker room. I have no idea, but definitely would love to talk to him. Keep your head up, HD, man. You'll be back in there in no time.
Hey, his crew's cool as hell too.
Yeah.
We met all those all-in management guys down there, and Dr. 305. This dude looks like a goddamn professional wrestler. I'm like, who is this guy? Who's this guy walking around with the all-in management team? He's got to be like their bodyguard or something, like a former pro wrestler, dude. Nope, he's a chiropractor.
Yes,
he's a chiropractor. He's about 6'4".
Massive.
He's like 6'4", 6'5", like 320 pounds, and just looks like a damn defensive lineman. And he's like the nicest guy ever. He's like, oh no, I'm a chiropractor. I'm Dr. 305 on Instagram. Me and my partner over there wanted to, take care of some fighters. So, like, he was just really super nice. But like you said, I don't know if Ben says you ask why, because elevation, where is it? Right here. Elevation is real, even football players. But what does that have to do with him not adjusting the game plan on a fucking shoot in jab? I don't understand the correlation behind that, but we still love you, Ben. Yeah, he was probably tired. I'll give you that. He was probably tired from the elevation, but when you're getting punched in the face on the exact same entry 25 times in a row, your coach and you should probably say, you know what? We got to stop getting hit with that jab on the way in, dude.
I'm curious as to what happened. So, we always find out stuff after the fight, like this happened, or I couldn't do this, or I broke my hand, or you just never really know exactly what happens. And Kai was just relentless with his pressure. So it's like, maybe he was just like, fuck, like everything I do is not working and I'm losing. And I know time flies fast. It's a 2-minute round with a 1-minute break. And it happens so fast for me. So I can imagine when you're in there, you're all of a sudden I'm sure it drags out, but at the same time, it's over before you know it, And he's probably like, damn, I never got to do exactly what I wanted to do, even though I kept thinking I was about to I'm ready to get in there and get set. You know what I mean? Like every time he was probably ready to do something, Kai's comes in, something happens. Look,
Dude, it goes back.
It's so crazy watching
You
these fights.
you know me, Mike. I've said this a million times because nowadays I'm 42 years old and I do not have the same fucking gas tank that I once did. But when I joined the military 22 years ago, I was a high school wrestler 1 year out of high school. And I never went to college. I didn't wrestle in college. Like Kai made it to college.
Yeah.
Just to be a fucking decent level high school wrestler like I was pretty good. I wasn't a fucking state champion or anything like that, but I was pretty good. The wrestling practices all week long were harder than fucking anything you guys could imagine. Like they're the fucking hardest shit I ever did in my life as far as training goes. And that counts basic training. Like I went to basic training and they would try to smoke my ass and it would not work. And like, I would tell them, you guys are not going to do this. I would go at it. Kai wrestled on a collegiate level.
Yeah.
Now that motherfucker's gas tank is probably that of something that none of us can imagine. And it doesn't matter like too much elevate. I don't know what elevation he's in Montana. I don't know. Maybe he's at elevation. I don't know, but
I'm not sure.
Just to have that gritty wrestling gas tank and go anywhere, doesn't matter what the elevation. He could probably go anywhere and hang for 5 rounds. Yeah, it's like
meters. Yeah,
it's a different. He's cut from a different cloth for sure. So shout out to Kai Stewart for hanging on to that belt. You proved everybody wrong, and I wonder what they do with him next. We do have to talk about Jeremy Stephens, man. Jeremy Stephens came in here off of a long MMA career, 29-21 in MMA. We were talking about the 21 losses on his record, and like people are like 29-21. That's a lot of losses. I was like, guys, go look up his record. I said, go look up his record. He lost to Jose Aldo, Max Holloway, Hernando Moicano, Yair Rodriguez. The fucking list of guys that he lost to.
Yeah, I'll run through them right now real quick because I have them here. Clay Collard, Calvin Cater, let's see, Yair Rodriguez, Zabit Magomed Sharapov, Jose Aldo, Renato Moicano, Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, Cub Swanson.
These are the guys he's lost
Donald Cerrone, Anthony Pettis, Melvin Gillard, Gleison Tebow, Joe Lozon, Dean Thomas.
Yeah. He lost to a bunch of fucking Hall of Famers, dude.
He's got a couple more losses of people that aren't the big game, but those are the people he lost to.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's insane. It's like he fought the best and the best for a long time, and he knocked out a lot of big names too. You didn't even read his wins. So this guy comes over, him from the Who the Fuck Is That Guy interview. Obviously, everyone that knows Jeremy Stephens was that guy, but he was also a knockout artist. One of the best knockouts of all time is him against fucking Dennis Bermudez with the flying knee up against the cage. It was just so beautifully timed. Just knocked that dude silly into another dimension. He came in there and fought another extremely talented former UFC top fiver, Jimmy Rivera, who had a couple bare knuckle fights already under his belt. And Jeremy just looked right at home. He really did. He looked right at home. He slugged it out with Jimmy a little bit, and then he landed the fucking kill shot. And we talked to him afterwards. We talked about how he plans on making I can quote big business with bare knuckle in that 100.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make
Business.
I'm gonna make big business in this 155-pound division.
What is that? His
I
accent?
can't wait to see what happens with Jeremy Stevens in the mix of that 155 division, man, because it's just exciting to see just another stud fighter who plans on sticking around. You know what I mean? Plans on sticking around. Here he is. He had like the snakeskin pants on or whatever.
Yeah, short and tight.
Yeah. They slugged it out and he hit him with the fucking uppercut to end it, right? Is that what it was? He had him in the clinch and like threw that inside uppercut and did his thing, dude. I'm excited about that.
Just like one of underdog victories that night.
Right. Like Jeremy Stevens is now in a division where James Lilly and fucking Tony Soto and Luis Palomino reside.
Yep.
I don't think that they would ever give like an Angel Core to him because Angel Core, unfortunately for like Angel Core, Jeremy Stevens has a name and they're gonna match him up with like bigger names.
It might be another one of those things where they don't match him up, and I really do hope for Soto's sake they do match him up because he's gonna need competition because now you got the Palomino fucking versus Trout, which listen, I'm sure it's gonna be a great fight, but I don't know many people who are looking forward to that fight being made. Not to seeing that fight. I'm sure everyone doesn't mind seeing Trout fight Palomino, but I don't know a lot of people that were like, oh, you know what fight needs to be made next? Trout versus Palomino.
Well, dude, you know what fight should be made right now, I think, and unfortunately for Tony, he was right there at the number one spot for the title shot. They went ahead and booked the Austin Trout fight, which is a great fight, and it's a huge name. It's a former boxing. It's going to be a great fight. So why don't they put Tony Soto versus James Lilly on the fucking co-main there and make it a title eliminator, basically.
Yeah.
Tony, I would love to see Tony Soto and James Lilly fight.
That'd be fucking great.
Unless Tony wants to sit out for another fucking 6 months, which I don't think he does.
No.
Because this Trout Palomino fight isn't happening till February 2nd.
Right.
So it's December, January, February. That's 3 months for Tony sitting on his ass right now. And then whoever wins that fight has to heal up. So they don't fight May, June, July, maybe August. So is Tony Soto going to sit out till next August? No
way.
Soto and Lilly, put them on that card. That would be fucking awesome. That would be fucking awesome. Palomino Trout,
and it lines them up too.
Oh yeah.
If there's an injury or something, they can have some recoup time.
It does, yes, absolutely, and it lines them, and it lines up the rest of the year for them. Basically, like it makes it easy for these guys. They have starting February 2nd. They have two events lined up off of that one. You know what I mean? They know that the winner of that main event is going to fight the winner of that co-main event 3-4 months later, and they don't even have to think about it. It's already the work's already done. It's fantastic. I would love to see both of them. I would like to see that happen. I don't know if Scott and Tony agree with that, but I don't know. It's just I don't know.
It's what you think. It's what you want. It's what a lot of people want to see. I mean, that's just the way it is. There's a lot of fights.
Those are quality fights. Those are quality matchmaking right there.
And that's one of the big ones right there because that's a division that is really it has really heated up. Also, Bobby Taylor, Bryce Henry, Andrew Angelcourt. Those are all people in that top 5 that they all need fights. And we're ready to see. They all want fights. They all need fights. Man, that would be great if they got a bunch of those guys in that top 5 on that card, actually. That would be fantastic because everybody would be lined up to match up afterwards. Man.
I wonder if I wonder if Daniel Strauss is ever coming back because
it's got a little movement from thinking.
I know that. This. I wonder if Daniel Strauss is ever coming back. I don't think it was a one and done with that win when they fought at 145, but Daniel Strauss was beefy at 145. I would like to see like a Daniel Strauss Jeremy Stevens fight at 155 would be sweet. That would be a good one. It's a former Bellator champion.
Yeah.
That would be a name that Jeremy Stevens would be like, oh yeah, I'll fight him. Do that at 155, and then let Bryce Henry and Drew Angel Core figure it out. There's a lot of shit that can happen, dude. Any other fights we want to talk about before we wrap this up? There was a lot. We talked about Mohawk and Keegan, fight of the night. Fantastic for those guys. The other fight of the night was Kai and HD.
Yep.
I will agree with Joe earlier. I thought the Christine and Beck, I would have gave them the nod over the HD and Kai, but whatever. Those are great fights. Knockout of the night was Lozano. Let's talk about him.
Lozano underdog coming into the fight.
Mike Jones. I was standing in the back, like back towards the back of like the floor seats, and I'm talking to these fans, and they're like, "This is going to be an easy one for Mike Jones." They're like, "Oh, this guy, this should be fucking no problem." What like they're saying, like they're super.
Yeah, they're brushing off Lozano.
Yeah, they're brushing him off, and I was like,
plus he's
and you know what
guy,
I didn't want to sound like an asshole, but I go, do you guys know who he's? Do you guys know that guy? Do you know Eric Lozano? They're like, no. I go, he can fight. I'm like, this fucking guy can fight, man. He's only got 2 losses, and they're to Lorenzo Hunt, who is damn near the pound for pound fucking king right now, and Brutal Bostwick, who can fucking scrap with anybody. Yes. So I'm like, I wouldn't just brush him off. He could win with a power shot. He's got power in his hands, man, and he's coming off a big knockout off of Francisco Ricci. I wouldn't sleep on him, dude. Literally, like 40 seconds later, he finished off Mike Jones, and they turned and looked at me like I was some fucking fortune teller. But I was like, no, I'm just telling you, I just know the sport, and I've seen Eric Lozano fight. He can fight. Yeah. He fucking went 4.5 rounds, like 4 full rounds with fucking Lorenzo before he got put to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
he went the distance with Bostwick, right? He went the distance with Bostwick.
Yeah, he went the distance with Bostwick, and you know what? And we talked to Lozano afterwards,
and he knocked out Ricky.
Yeah, Francisco Ricci. He knocked him out. He knocked him out with a shot to the cheekbone too. It wasn't like he hit him on the chin and hit the button either.
Hardcore. And it was fast too. Like
so now he moves to 2-2. Eric Lozano now 2-2 with a finish over Ricci and Mike Jones, and his only 2 losses are Bostwick and Hunt. He's got an impressive 2-2 record. Yeah. And we talked to him afterwards. He said he's staying at 185. He has a hard time cutting to 175. And he even said he had a hard time cutting to 185, and he apologized for that. He's got to fucking get his act together a little bit. He admitted it himself. He's going to fucking tighten up and make his living at the 185-pound division. So you got another light heavyweight contender there, in the future.
That's almost a full card. There's Bradshaw who won.
Bradshaw had a nice knockout. You know what? In that, we'll just real quick on that one. We don't have the congratulations to Bradshaw. Congratulations to Danny Hilton. We're gonna get him on the show too. But
and Moa.
And Ben Moa fucking bloodied up Bercier. Yeah. Bridger
Bercier.
But that Bradshaw knockout was a great knockout, but he never should have got that knockout because the referee, whoever was refereeing that round, that fight, and not to trash the ref, because there was pretty good refereeing the whole night. I'll say that this was one of the better nights, but Bradshaw put that dude down hard, and he was celebrating like he had it won. And that guy got up, and he was in fucking la la land, dude. I don't think he was all there. And the referee says, "Show me your hands," and he puts his hands up, but you could see in his face that like this fucking guy, I don't think he was still there. And then Bradshaw's like got his hands up like this, and then he walks across the ring and just fucking crushes the dude.
Yes.
And I think I was standing next to Joe Elmore. Oh no, I was standing with Josh Burns at the time. And me and Burns like looked at each other, and Burns was like, that guy should have never continued. I was like, yeah, I don't think that ref did him any favors, dude. So Bradshaw did get like a highlight reel knockout, but like, I don't know if he should have still been fighting in that fight.
Yeah, he got fucking laid out too.
It was brutal. So
Yeah.
yeah, and the Bridger or Bercier fight, the mat
I
on
know his
the
face is like fucking
dude, the
bloody. Like,
mat
oh,
was so crazy after that fight. The amount of blood that was on the mat after that fight was just absolutely fucking insane. It looked like somebody took paintbrushes and just dipped him in red paint and just shot them all over the ring like this. It was just it was a Bob Ross painting, dude.
I think I have some pictures of that. Let me bring these up real quick. Yeah, let me bring these up. Let's see some of these pictures. These pictures are from Phil Lambert and Nick Vespi of BKFC. Very, very the best pitchers in the game. There's no, I
Oh, they're
don't think I've
great,
ever
man.
seen pitchers come out of any other organization quite like this. Like people take great pictures, but BKFC provides these to the media, and these are so friggin' nice. They're always great.
Dude,
Look at
Nick
this shot.
and
Look at that
yo,
face.
Nick and
Holy
Phil, they really do like they they must have the finger on the trigger all
They
fucking
must
night.
take 7,000 fucking
Yeah,
pictures a
they
night.
must. They must because there was one
Look
picture.
at the blood all over him.
God, yeah. There's one picture from early in a different fight. I want to say it might have been the LJ the Danny Hilton fight with
Danny
LJ
Hilton.
Schultz. Dude, there is like a cloud of blood blowing off the side of this dude's head. And whoever snapped that picture, whether it be Nick or Phil, it
Let's
was
see.
so damn perfect. It's like, do you have it?
Yeah, let me delete. So I got about 7 billion pictures in here uploaded.
If
So
you
I got
got
to
it, pull it
erase
up
some of them.
and then we'll wrap it up for the night. If you got that picture, that one I showed it
I might have it. If it's one of the ones that they have, then I probably have it here. If it's one of the ones they shared with us.
it is. It's in there. Dude, it's just like I said, they must have
That
that
one?
one. Yeah, dude,
There
look
it
at
is.
the fucking
Yeah.
look. Isn't that crazy?
Off to the right there, yeah.
It looks like he boxed a box of Mike and Ike's out his ear.
Yeah, look, it is. Oh, that is just incredible.
That's
Holy
incredible, right?
smoke.
The
Yeah.
timing, and look at his other hand. Look at the one that's cocked.
Yes, his left hand, Hilton's left hand
Hilton
is
was
just filled,
bloodying him up.
covered. That is awesome.
I just love that picture because that just shows the amount of photos that Phil and Nick must take and then just go through that night. Because
Yeah,
dude, they
and be
get
like,
these
"Dude, look at
photos out.
this."
They get these photos out to us like the next day.
They're
So
fast.
I
Might
don't
even be
know.
that night at some point,
Yeah, it
early
might even be
morning.
that night, like or later that night. So those guys must sit there and just go through 10,000 damn photos and picking out the best ones. They do really great work, man. Unbelievable stuff. Shout out to our sponsors one more time. We got the Shave Parlor down in Cape Coral, Florida. I'm gonna throw their stuff
Yes.
up there real quick. Shave Parlor down in Cape Coral, Florida. Check out those guys if you're down in Florida and you need a nice cut. Get over to the BK Bet Shark on Instagram at BK Bet Shark and follow that guy. Hit the link. Subscribe and win yourself some money. Dynamic life, weight loss, sexual health, and anti-aging. Get over there to their website and become a patient in just under 20 seconds. And then our
Yep.
newest sponsor, we got the Bucked Up Boys. We are now sponsored by
Bucked up. We getting
Dude,
bucked up.
Bucked Up Energy, Bucked Up Supplements. These shots. Check these shots out. How cool are these? They're like the fucking 5-hour energy shots, just way better flavor and way better tasting, and they come in like a shotgun shell. Isn't that
Yeah, that's
fucking
cool. I like that. I like the
Yeah.
shotgun shell. That's a very, very good idea. That's cool.
They get the job done. So head over to
Can't wait to-
buckedup.com. We'll share the link to get us some credit. But in the meantime, you can go to buckedup.com and you can use Mike and Mish 20, MikeandMish 20, and get 20% off your purchase over at Bucked Up. Cool shirt, super comfortable.
Yeah, I can't wait to get this out to all of our army buddies. They're gonna be happy about this. I can't wait to get this out there. So
oh yeah, it's gonna be a fucking awesome 2024. We're linking up with a lot of cool people now, and
lots of plans, lots of cool shit coming down the line that we're working on. I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We are not doing a show tomorrow night because I got something going on with my kids' school tomorrow night, and plus I feel like shit. And Mike and I still have about fucking 10 more videos to get
We
out.
got a bunch of videos, so more videos will
So
be
tons
coming
of
out.
content out there. Go check out all our interviews. They're on the YouTube channel. I'll be making shorts from them and reels to get onto the social medias as well. But
Yes.
we're just worn out, and we're coming off that fantastic event, and we got nothing else for you right now. What do you got, Mike?
I got one last thing that I started and I forgot about. Jomi is fighting February 2nd. He said, going to be fireworks. Can't wait to put on a show. So, holy shit. I don't think I knew that till today. I don't remember seeing that anywhere. Cannot wait. I believe we might be able to make that one. No promises, but I think so because we have a nice break for a couple of months. So, we're probably going to try to get down there, I would think. So,
yeah, I got my eye on that one for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, and plus, Mike and I, you and I were just talking about this.
Yes.
We've been to so many goddamn events recently, and not one of them was been in Florida. Like,
Nope.
like
And in the
I
beginning,
miss
they were all
Florida.
Florida.
They were all in Florida, man. We were in Hollywood like all the time. We're visiting with
My sister-in-law.
Marissa,
Yep.
and we're hanging out down in the fucking what's the where all the graffiti
Pembroke
is?
Pines.
Pembroke
Oh,
Pines?
no, you're talking about
Down in Miami.
shit. God, Wynwood.
Wynwood. We're down in
Wynwood.
Wynwood, hitting up the
Love
bars
Wynwood.
and yeah,
Wynwood
fucking.
Walls.
And then all of a sudden, like we're in Tampa, we're in Orlando, we're in Miami, and now we haven't been to Florida in probably 10 events. You know, it's
Yep.
crazy.
And well, we will get back there. We do have a bunch of post-fight interviews. I'll probably release a few tomorrow in place of the show. So keep your eyes peeled. And I'm good. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I think you guys should have a great night, and we will see you next Wednesday when we do back-to-back shows next Wednesday and Thursday. We'll get back on the regular schedule. We'll load it up, and stay tuned because we're going to start posting things for our yearly awards. And as you know, the yearly awards are fan votes. So when I post them on Instagram and
YouTube
Facebook,
and Facebook, and
it is we are counting the votes in the comments. Don't just like the post. You got to tell us who you're voting for in the comment section so we can tally all them shits up and give the award to the rightful owner. I have a feeling Keith Richardson's going to win a bunch of those this year.
Yes. Yeah.
So with that said,
thank you guys for
tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you did not check out BKFC 56, make sure you get it once it's out there for free viewing. It's still purchased, so you still have to purchase it right now. I wonder when it's going to hit the market free on the app. So, anyways, thanks for everybody tuning in. Thanks for hanging with my shitty voice, and we will talk to you next week.
Peace.
Get fucked up, motherfuckers.
Peace.